Hello and welcome to another show of Like a Bundle of Reeds with Dr. Michael Leitman. Hello, Dr.
Hello,
Leitman.
everyone.
And with our political analyst, Masha Shevich. Hello.
Hello.
Today's show is special. We're moving into the holidays, which is a very special time in the year, especially in the Jewish people. It is characterized by a lot of joy, and at the same time often also with a great deal of tension, the sense of family, and families, as we know, as Tolstoy has already written about happy families and unhappy families and the differences between them. So there are many layers about that. There are many facets to it. And in the world, we are in a special period. We can see it all over the world. And we would like to really scrutinize with Dr. Leitman what is special about this approaching year as opposed to previous years.
First of all, indeed, I see the holidays this year, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot, Simchat Torah, as times that are very such that I ask myself, how will they pass? First of all, the holidays for us belong to the family. They belong to the nation. They unite the nation. They give the nation some general characteristic, which is inclusive. And here, indeed, we are in a very special state. First of all, on the one hand, we see how much our nation has suddenly become divided. Those who live in the land of Israel and those who live abroad, overseas, and how much the people who live overseas, to some extent, want to feel themselves as distant from Israel. They don't want to take on themselves responsibility for what Israel is doing and what is happening in Israel. On one hand, so there is a lesser connection, especially an emotional connection, between the Jews who live in the diaspora anywhere in the world and the Jews who live in Israel. That's on our behalf. And as a result of that, we also see that there is a special attitude from the nations of the world to us. In the beginning, indeed, there was this hope that it would happen only towards Israel, because Israel is wrong. They are here oppressing their neighbors, starting wars and military operations, etc. But we see that very quickly it started being felt, and even more so, as pressure on all the Jews who are in the diaspora. And if in Israel we are protected, sheltered towards all of these anti-Semites who are in the from the world, at least physically, then the Jews who live in all the different countries in the world feel themselves as very unsafe, insecure. And here indeed we see a directed hand, a guiding hand, I would say, from above, that if indeed you leave Israel, then very quickly, almost immediately, you feel the response that nobody has expected, that such hatred would appear both on behalf of the Muslims who are everywhere in the world and also from all the nations of the world towards the Jews who live everywhere, who are there as a neutral body.
You're basically saying that Jews are suffering from anti-Semitism because they abandoned the connection with Israel?
To me, this is certain and obvious.
You mean this sentence next year in Jerusalem? It's just a sentence that we say at the end of the holidays.
No, it was always being said just as a sentence. Now they're starting to say it not as a phrase, but that indeed it could be that next year,
as a safe haven.
Yeah, it would be a safe haven, a shelter. We will have no choice and we will come to Jerusalem.
I don't know. It seems to me that it seems to make sense looking at it from their perspective.
Yes.
They are now suffering from anti-Semitism, not because they abandoned Israel, but because Israel is misbehaving towards the people in Gaza.
That's just an excuse, just as if the reason. They are suffering from anti-Semitism because they are Jews, not for any other reason. And even you guys are familiar, are in touch with all kinds of organizations that operate against anti-Semitism, etc. You know that some of the organizations are even making actions against Israel, and it doesn't protect them. The other way around, actually. And we're going to see that specifically those circles that make actions against Israel, and for the Arabs even, they will suffer even more than from this anti-Semitic wave, because they will have to be corrected more powerfully, with greater strength, in order to bring them closer to Israel.
It reminds me, not so long ago there was a protest in Germany. In Europe there's been lots of protests. They tried to take a Jewish speaker up on stage to talk against Israel, and she was taken off the stage.
Good. No, they're not taking it into calculation. The other way around. I'll tell you, when I am overseas, and I gave many lectures in all kinds of different places, and I speak directly with anti-Semites, and especially in Russia, I would enter a dialogue with them, not arguing with them, but explaining to them with Kargenyan and all sorts of... there are some well-known anti-Semites there, philosophers, scientists who are familiar with the topic. They're not just yelling at the street. They relate very seriously. They respect. You might say that I have a dialogue with them, a connection with them, as to people who are engaging in the same topic. We're studying it, I understand them, they understand me, they agree with me, and it's interesting, following my recent conversation with Kargenyan, who is heading the anti-Semitic ideology. He wrote that it seems to him that Russia has no choice but actually to connect with Israel. So he started understanding the process that nonetheless we have to go through.
Now, if we're talking about truly, there's a holiday season starting, it's very significant for all of Israel. What truly is special this time in these holidays? What can we do? What would you recommend? You say yourself it's a transformation for all of the Jewish people. We have all these holidays ahead of us.
Have always, from the time that Abraham founded us as a nation, he started connecting us, we have always been successful in overcoming each and every problem only by unity. This is in the foundation of our nation, to be connected as one man in one heart. Don't do to your friend what is hated by you, love thy friend as thyself, to be in arvut, mutual guarantee. All of Israel are friends, etc. So, connection, unity is what is special to us and what makes us into a nation. And also, this unity drives away all the problems and troubles. It drives away from us the evil eye, an evil friend, or an evil nation, and a bad attitude, everything. As long as we are connected. And the connection between us has to be around an idea, a special idea that is unique to us. And that idea that we have to connect in order to be united, and in that to find a force of unity between us. It is a spiritual force that is there on the condition that we unite. Then we can find that force of unity. It exists in nature, and we are like a detector. If we connect, we find that force, and then from us it spreads all over the world, and it starts connecting everyone into a good, beautiful, united humanity. And this is what the nations of the world expect from us subconsciously, because without us they won't be able to unite. And in our global world, where we are so interconnected, starting from the World War, etc., only we can bring about that correction. This is what we should be praying for in all the holidays.
The holidays are characterized on the one hand by an atmosphere of unity, but I would like to
unity for what sake? Also because we owe it to the whole world.
Well, that leads me to a question, because we're talking about unity as unity of the family, or at most of the community.
It's quite the choking unity
that
during
is the
the holidays.
problem. That is the problem. When we start being divided into all kinds of different segments, sectors, I go to this synagogue, but I don't enter this one, this is that way, this is this way, none of this. We have to feel as a single nation, as one man in one heart. There's no difference between us. We're all united, we're all equal, we are all bonded in one heart.
You mean every different
What does it matter,
religious,
all of these
secular,
external implications?
we're all one
Jews
people.
are Jews. We have to all be together.
Now,
And what does it mean together? In order to discover in us the force of connection, and that force of connection will spread from us all over the world. That force of connection is the Creator. That is the Creator. He has to be revealed in us. This is what we need. And then we have to reach a state where through us it will come to the whole world. This is called to be the light for the nations.
you're talking about this unity. It's something very positive. We're used to experience this family union in a very negative way. We know that in Israel there's a lot of divorce after Passover. After people have been for a very intensive week together, they're dying to separate, to go their separate ways. And we experience it each time during the holidays, that our people experience this unity as something very choking, suffocating, depressing. Maybe you're talking about a different level of connection. Maybe one of these holidays, it shouldn't be such a family holiday, but maybe the community,
In the
whole
nation,
nation.
it was always this way. They would ascend to Jerusalem, go to Jerusalem, to the temple, and even though in Sukkot the whole nation, each one was in his sukkah, nonetheless, they would also come to Jerusalem. Holidays are an ascent to Jerusalem. It's a connection. Nonetheless, it is an inner emotional unity. I can't just be connected this way to the whole world. But nowadays, using the communications between us, we can be connected. We just have to feel it. The main thing is before the holiday to advertise, to bring to the knowledge of the nation that we have to attain connection. We have to attain an emotional connection, and without that we cannot be saved. Without that we're not keeping our obligation, our duty towards the whole world, which is deteriorating towards a world war.
These 2 or 3 days that we have left of this month, and then we have a whole other month, what do we need to do as a people in this preparation
Ask
for
for
the
forgiveness, pardon. Ask for
What
forgiveness.
is slichot?
Forgiveness, that we are not operating towards connection between us, which is the main thing. The whole Torah is love thy friend as thyself. And we forgot about it throughout the whole year. And now let's start thinking about it. Towards this commandment, this precept, we were guilty, we betrayed. Towards that precept, we didn't do anything, and it includes all the other mitzvot in the Torah.
All the slichot that we do in July,
Only
they're
that.
toward this commandment?
All in all, this is what we have to reach.
Not that we murdered or stole, or
We murdered and we stole, each one
just
of
from
us.
this union?
Each one of us, because if we lack the kalim, the vessels for this mitzvah, for this precept, we performed all the transgressions.
That reminds me that a little while ago, an imam, a high sheikh in London, said that the Jews are to blame for every illness and every war and and every plague that ever happened in history anywhere in the world.
That is true. He's right. I'm saying it with a whole heart. He is right. Until we will bring correction to the world, we are guilty for the world being the way it is. But we have to understand that we are guilty as if it's because we can bring that correction to the world. We didn't know about it. There was a time when the world was suffering and we suffered, but we didn't know why. Because it was a time that we had to go through. It's just like with every illness. You have a certain period of, incubation.
Latent period.
And now the time has come for us to reveal it. Because now the illness is starting to show itself as general. It is already manifesting, and therefore the wisdom of Kabbalah is becoming revealed, and according to what the Kabbalists write, we have to disclose that method to the whole nation and also to the whole world.
A few days ago, a friend asked me to find some excerpts of anti-Semites that show that they understand that the unity in Israel is a solution. So I searched, and I couldn't find them.
You didn't find any?
I couldn't find them, other than Henry Ford, who truly understands it on a very profound level, but not from other anti-Semites. What I did find, though, was not just anti-Semites, but many non-Jews who understand that the concept of unity, the notion of unity, is something inherent, something deeply rooted in Jews. And what I saw was that they were afraid of it. They were afraid of it because they felt that this was the power of the Jews. There were all kinds of excerpts. Something like, no economist, if he's not Jewish, it's very hard for him to succeed because the Jews support each other in the economy and finance, and they teach each other. And some are afraid that the Jews will exploit their power of unity against others.
The fact that there is a connection between all the Jews in the world, as anti-Semites usually claim, that is true. But the problem is that the Jews are not using that connection in the right way.
Right. So the result is that the anti-Semites are afraid of this unity. So my question
depends on what form you approach that connection.
Right. So how will they know that we're approaching it correctly?
We say it openly. We are revealing why we're doing it. And we understand what is the force of connection, and we're doing it in order to add them as well. Please, let's do it together. Together. Not that the Jews only will connect. Let's do it together. However, for the time being, anti-Semitism is helping us connect. And we need to say as if thank you very much to them for the fact that it's just like with Pharaoh. Come to Pharaoh, for I have burdened his heart. This is how Pharaoh was doing his work, even back then, in order to unite the Jews, so they will be ready for coming out of Egypt.
But we are saying that we first have to unite among Israel. So maybe that brings suspicion.
In Israel, there's no suspicion about that, and the nations of the world have no suspicion about that, because we are a nation who is becoming more and more united.
So why?
I don't think that the moment that we will start connecting through the wisdom of Kabbalah for the purpose of bringing them the wisdom of connection as well, and to be the light for the nations, that is to bring them the abundance, the power that brings happiness, I am sure that they won't have any suspicion and any concern, and they will support that 100%. It is written that they will bring the people of Israel on their shoulders to the temple in Jerusalem.
And for that we have this time now, a month before the holidays. And that's actually what you're talking about. When the new year comes, it's a new beginning of what?
We need to indeed do self-scrutiny, judgment for ourselves, just like what these holidays are about. Rosh Hashanah is the beginning of, is the end of the year, the beginning of a new year and the end of the previous year. Let us indeed enter a new period, a new course, that we are truly going towards a new goal, We have a goal in life, we have a purpose. We are the people of Israel, Yashar Kel, straight to the Creator. Israel is Yashar Kel, straight towards the Creator, to discover Him. And the Creator is the force of unity, the force of connection, the good force, the abundance. He's good who does good. Let's reveal Him to the whole world. And that is what we have to do, to be the light for the nations. As it says, and all the nations flocked to Him. That is our duty, to do that, to realize that.
Maybe another little question. I heard many talks of yours about the holidays, and each time you open like a new page, and when we're talking usually about this series of holidays, so Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, you're talking about the inner development of a person, what the New Year is for a person, what Yom Kippur is for a person, what Sukkot is for a person. If you could explain this series of holidays for us as a people, because you say for us, this is a new beginning as a people.
Rosh Hashanah, it's good if we really think about what kind of year it should be.
For all of us.
A good year, what does it mean, a good year for us? That it is about connection, peace, tranquility. How can that be if we are so connected to the world? We have to bring them what they demand of us. Otherwise they won't let us rest. It is the Creator who is doing it through us on them. He's affecting them so that they will influence us. That we have to understand. Therefore we need a revelation of the wisdom of Kabbalah, because we have to explain to them this whole process, that the Creator, through the nations of the world, is pressuring us, meaning all of these nations of the world are called Pharaoh. He's pressuring us so that by that we will unite and we will be able to reveal, to discover Him, and then to bestow that same force of connection, the force of unity, which is the Creator who is revealed in us to the whole world. And it will all come to be as a single association, single unit. This is Rosh Hashanah.
That's Rosh Hashanah.
Yom Kippur is that when we do the calculation of what is it that we need to correct. What desires our evil inclination, the evil that is between us, that we reject one another, that we cannot connect with one another. So we have to come closer, we have to rise above that, we have to ask for that force. Let's awaken it, let's have a workshop. Meaning, let's sit in a circle, let's talk to one another. Each can talk to his friend in such a way that we will be able to discover that force. We will be able to correct the bad in us.
From your perspective, what is the best spending of time in these days of the holidays of Rosh Hashanah, the beginning of the year?
Well, look, there are people who pray the entire day, so I'm not gonna go there.
Fine.
And God forbid start telling them they need to do something else. But I think that nonetheless, they should be talking in between the prayers.
Those, who don't pray all day.
Well, with them it's simpler.
Right. So what do they need to do?
Connection. A workshop. That is, all kinds of connection circles where they speak about our unity. That is the main thing.
And when they sit and talk in this workshop, what should be the spirit? What should be the conditions by which they work together?
Together, all of us, as equals, want to come close so much that we will be as one man in one heart. If we will start coming close a little bit, we will start noticing that we have these common things between us, that we're not turning each other off or hating one another, that we have to connect, and in that connection between us we discover some warmth, some light, some special force. With that force we can heal everything that we have between us. We can correct all the anti-Semitism all over the world. We can drive away all of our haters and enemies. Let's start sitting and connecting. And I can see it in our website, I can see it on our channel. We teach how to do it. And then by realizing such circles, we come to a feeling of how it is possible to heal ourselves from our ego. First of all, it's us. And then we'll go out to the whole world and explain it to them.
There's really a tradition to ask for forgiveness in the holiday time, to correct connections between people. And you're talking about the fact that in Rosh Hashanah there's some revelation to the whole nation, and then on Yom Kippur you're saying there's a verification, if I understand correctly.
That we decide, say, in a popular manner. I'm not entering the secrets of these holidays, but if on Rosh Hashanah we decide what kind of year it should be, then on Yom Kippur we have an examination. Can we actually realize this year? What do we have in order to do it?
So, Dr. Lightman, in the few remaining seconds, what do you wish for us? That we will know what to do this year that we haven't done so far.
First of all, we'll decide that we have to be connected. This is on Rosh Hashanah. And later, on Yom Kippur, we will discover that we have what to correct, but that reforming light that we awaken through our connection, it will correct everything.
Thank you very much, Dr. Lightman. We will continue and talk about the holidays. We have Sukkot in the next program, next show. Thank you very much, Mr. Shevich.
Thank you
for being with us, and we'll see you on the next show.